Hi there guys and girls and PES fans worldwide, it's the Pro Spartan Gamer. This video is going to be slightly different, not really going to have any related gameplay as such in it. It's just an opportunity for me. I wanted to pass on my thoughts about PES 2014 and in particular the Master League offline and things that would be great to see in the Master League in the next edition of PES. I want to make it clear that these are an independent thoughts. These are my thoughts, no one else's in particular. They're not linked with Konami, so I've got no inside track of what is going to be in the Master League. It's just my thoughts of things that I think would be really cool if they could add into the series. Because next year, obviously, PES has got the new engine. It's a modified Fox engine for Konami. It's been developed especially for PES, I think, over the last couple of years, and we know it's a very big year for PES next year. It's exciting times of what might happen, and I really just wanted to pass on some views because I know a lot of you out there subscribe to my channel and view my channel because of my PES SP Spartan series, and the one in the background is just another SP Spartans, which is in Division 2, which is just a muck around one for me when I don't upload really. I haven't really played that much on it because I've got my proper SB Spartans, which obviously you guys follow, which is in sort of season 6 at the moment. I think we're on uploads, but I just felt it was a good time. There's a few people out there posting stuff about PES 2014. I recently watched a good one from the Midnight Kid on his thoughts about gameplay and stuff like that more, which I'm not going to necessarily concentrate too much on the gameplay side of it. Yes, hopefully there is going to be improvements. I think this year's gameplay's been a big step from 2012 for sure. The shooting's definitely been powered up and is a lot better. I think there's still work to be done on the tackling. The animations on some of the tackling just looks a bit cumbersome. Um, and also the heading. Um, Years gone past, the heading was too powerful and it was too easy to get it wide and score from a header. This year it seems nigh on impossible to score many headers, so it's just getting that consistency right between the heading and that. Um, Player ID, which I really like. I think there's been about 40, 50 players that have ID on this year's PES. Hopefully that number is going to increase because that is a real nice feature. And I've heard rumours that Team ID is going to come in. So for those of you out there who are familiar with the English League, then if you come up against someone like Stoke City, who like to go long with big players and win the flick-ons and win the second balls, that might be something that you've got to fight against if you're playing against them and things like that, which would be really cool. Um, so lots of improvements possibly to the gameplay. I mean, the graphics have always been pretty good on PES, but I imagine with the new engine, the graphics will improve and face recognition on the players will be even better. I mean, some of them are really good, but there are some still that are a little bit dodgy, that don't really sort of a generic face for quite a few out there. That so you get quite a few players that look exactly the same. So hopefully there'll be some improvement on that. Right, let's get down to the nuts and bolts of it then. I'm going to sort of trail through to the sort of screens on PES 2013, which is playing in the background here, and tell you really what things I would like to see improved. So first of all, I'm going to start on the transfer system. If we go into the transfer system at the moment, if I just use my favourites for argument's sake. So this is who I got on my favourites list on this one, and you get given a percentage chance, 1%, to sign Givenus, or come down to Kostic there, only 2% chance. Estimated transfer fee at 241,000. Okay, I've not got a lot of money up there in the top corner. I realise that, but if I was cash rich and had a lot of money, I would really like a feature on PES when you go into the negotiation screen and start transfer negotiations. Rather than it just coming back, they've been unsuccessful. I would really like there to be a chance for you just to put in whatever figure you want. It may only be 2%, but surely if you were prepared to pay, say, 2 million for Kostic just because you really wanted him, that percentage would change. So I think there needs to be some realism really in the transfer market where you can actually put in a value that you would like and actually go for them like that. And also player exchange. In the old PESs, you used to have player exchange. So, say um, I wanted to buy, I don't know, Willie Santana, who's obviously a legend in my SP Spartans I. Supposing I wanted to sign him and there was a player in my team that I wanted to get rid of to boost the chance of perhaps the sale going through, then I could offer money and another player for Willie Santana. Why has that been taken out of it? I've got no idea. That was a really nice feature on previous PESs back in the PlayStation 2 days and stuff. That ought to be added back in. I just think the whole transfer system needs a bit of a shake. Um, Make it more interesting. Transfer deadline day and stuff. It's so exciting in real football. Make it a little bit more exciting on PES. Get some real excitement into it. Yes, this scouting report thing, I suppose it's not a bad touch with the 2%, but why not say down the bottom chances of signing him are very remote unless you make a ridiculous offer or something, so there's a chance because I've had people sending me messages on the YouTube channel. They're number one club in the world. They've won everything 3 times in a row. They're at Barcelona, say for example, and the percentage chance to sign Steven Gerrard or Juan Mata or one of their favourite players is still 1 or 2%. Now, they've obviously the best club on the game. They're cash rich. Why can't they sign those people? If they could put in a bid of 60, 70 million, surely Liverpool would probably sell Steven Gerrard. So I think there's got to be a little bit more realism and perhaps give the player a little bit more flexibility on how they conduct the transfer system, their transfers, and if they want to spend money on a player, then let them do it, rather than it be so restrictive and just come back, no, you're not going to sell him, because at the end of the day, most clubs would sell a player. Every player has a price. It's like Gareth Bale at the moment in real life at Tottenham. Tottenham don't want to sell him, but if someone comes in with 65, 70 million, they'll sell him. So every player has a price, and I think the transfer system needs a total overhaul on PES. So you can do that. And while we're talking on the transfer system, the next thing really I want to speak about is the youth team. First and foremost, yes, I like the fact there's a youth team on PES. What I don't like is that you can only bring these players up into your team when it's a transfer window. Pardon me French, but what a load of rubbish, what a load of bollocks. Because in real life, they're in your academy, they're in your youth team, they would be able to come up and play whenever they want. They shouldn't take up a transfer spot in the transfer window. So we need to get rid of that, and the whole youth team system could be the best thing ever on PES. I heard 8-Bit Jose and Super Nesta 8, that's Twitter feeds, talking about it on their Master League, and I think if we could get an academy in PES, it would be a winner. It would be something to kick FIFA out of the water. What I mean, excuse me, is you have another team just underneath your main team with perhaps a squad of under 21 players, and you can actually sign youth players from other teams under 21, but they come into your academy side. And you could even have, I know this might be a bit of a dream, it might not be possible, I don't know, Konami if it is, but why not have academy season as well as your main season, and you could play academy games or you could sim them or whatever. But if you say you're in a Carling Cup game or an FA Cup game in the first round against a poor division side, or in the league against a team you know you're going to beat, why can't you go into your academy and bring up a couple of the stars from the academy and just give them a game in the first team? Not actually sign them on professional terms, but have a look at them. Have a look how good they are, and have some sort of time limit on how long the academy players stay in there. You can make it a year if you like, and then you can move them on and they become free agents or whatever, a year from signing, whatever you want, to give you a year to look at what's in that academy team, to decide who you bring up and when you bring up. And and the more game time you give someone in that academy, perhaps their stats and their ratings goes up as well. I think that would be a real good thing. Let's get a bit of youth into the PES, and not just make it this youth team that, 32 is quite restrictive if you want to bring up a lot of youth team players. On my other Master League, the SP Spartans Master League that I've got at the moment, I mean, I've brought up, I think, about 7 or 8 regenerated youth players like Van Bommel and Nenny and people like that, and I'm struggling because I've got, say, 20 good players, and I want to bring you through, but they're just not quite good enough at the moment, and they're not good enough for 3 or 4 seasons. So if I could leave them in that academy side until they were 21, and bring hand picking 1 or 2 in for the odd game, but developing them as well, until at 21 I've got to make a decision whether I sign them or not. That would be amazing. That would be fantastic. And when I say signing them, you bring them up at any time, not in a transfer window. I think that would be really cool if we could do something like that. So that's what I would like to see happen in the youth team and the transfers. Next thing, which surely must be a simple thing to do, I'm going to go to my squad list on here. I cannot believe that there's no career stats on the Master League. Yes, you can go to team information and you can see the season you're playing, but how easy would it be to put on this screen? I mean, you've got player info at the top there on R1 and L1, yeah? When you go through their ability, position, player index, development sheet, dossier and all this, equipment. How easy would it be just to have one more click there? So you go from the player there, one click or whatever, and you have a screen, bought in season 1 or 2013 for 500,000, bought up from the youth team. In Norman's case, it would be in 2012 to 13. Appearances for the club, 25. Clean sheets for a goalie. Average rating. And then, like, for a goal scorer, say someone, I don't know, like this guy, or Eccleston, who's been a legend for me in the other, you have a click, appearances, X, career goals, and such, because you just got no history of your club, only each season, and you got no history of your club for the results in previous seasons or nothing. It would be so easy. I know on Master League Online last year, on 2012, you had appearances, goals scored. It's a massive miss, this, in the Master League this year, and it must be so easy to put it in. Please, 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 Konami, make sure you've got career stats on the Master League players, when they were bought, appearances, starts, subs, appearances, assists, goals, even man of the match. Why don't we start having a man of the match in PES? You've got this ratings thing now at the end of each match, which I don't really know what difference that makes. Doesn't seem to make that much difference. But have the ratings, and give someone a man of the match trophy, and then relate that into their stats. That would just be so cool if you could do that. It would make the game so much better if we had stats, career stats. Please make sure that's in this year. It's got to be in. Next thing, hopefully, go to information. We go to tournament info. Hopefully next year, I understand there's going to be a hell of a lot more edit slots and everything. Hopefully there'll be more than just one division, or Division 2 will have at least 20 teams in it, to give it a bit more longevity, and perhaps Division 2 Cup, or perhaps we could have 2 cup competitions during the season, as most countries have. That would be really cool. I think we can increase it, because apparently the edit mode is going to be have an overhaul, complete new edit mode, which would be fantastic. While we're on this subject, there's some fantastic PES editors out there, and I'm just going to go through them. You can either find them via searching them on Google or by their Twitter feeds. It's at GTS World or Glenn the Magpie for PS3 version, which is gettable if you search on Google through only Pro Evolutions. At DJ Demos does a good Xbox 360 file, which is also obtainable through only Pro Evolutions on Google search. And the one that I use is by Winning 11 Editing, or at WEN Editing via Twitter, or search them out via Google. Go to Winning 11 blog, and you'll find them there. If they can get hold of PES 2014, which I'm sure they will, with lots more of edit slots in there, then we could possibly have 3 or 4 divisions if you're in England, which would be fantastic, and a lot more divisions. I'm sure European divisions, maybe MLS and all that sort of stuff. So that would be really cool. Forget the licenses. FIFA have got a lockout on the licenses, lots of the licenses, Premier League, etc. But if you go and get an option file, then PES is just as good because the kits are just as good. You've got all the teams, you've got all the players. So don't buy FIFA just for the licenses, because at the end of the day, PES is definitely football with atmosphere. It's a great game. The gameplay is fantastic, and the Master League is just something to behold. Right, next item is items in this shop for me. Yes, you at the top there, you get your points from each game. I think that's okay. I don't totally dislike this idea in the Master League this year, but I think next year these points ought to be made related to your actually on-field performance. So at the moment you get, I think it's 40 points when you're in Division 2 and something like 50 when you're in Division 1 and 70 for a Champions League game. But that's regardless on whether you win, lose or draw. Make these points related to how you actually get on in the game. If you win the game, then you get more. If you draw, slightly less. And if you lose, perhaps get a minimum amount of points. So then you're a failing team and it's harder to improve your players because obviously they've not got the confidence through winning games, etc. Whereas if you win more games, you get more points and you can improve your side because they will be wanting to improve. Because their confidence will be high, their morale will be high, and that should transmit into how they improve. Likewise, if you score and win a game 6-0, you ought to get more points than if you win a game 1-0. But it's exactly the same. I think, this was a feature that was put in there that, yes, it's quite a nice little touch to reward you, and so you can improve your team and make your team very individual and each player very individual on what attributes you improve on. But at the end of the day, a bit more effort and thought into it about what you can actually do. I mean, a couple guys here, Custolius, the old default player, I've given him free dribble speed, but I could have bought him anything. I understand the other thing, the boots from this year, which I know there was a lot of talk about the boots, and Konami just sort of sprung it on us. I don't totally dislike the boots idea. I think it's quite good. The only thing I would say is I don't believe the boots are going to be in 2014 from the rumours. I think they could have stayed, but I don't think you needed so many boots. If you've got a squad of 32, which hopefully that limit might be lifted a little bit so you can bring in youth team players, what I talked about earlier, I would actually like to see the boots limited to perhaps only 15 pairs a team. You can only get a maximum of 15, so then you decide what players have them or whatever. But then I think if they keep the attributes and the points for each game, hopefully that's going to stay and just the boots will go, because I like the idea of being able to get these attributes, dribble speed, kicking power, and buy it through performance and improve your side like that. I think that's a really good idea. The idea I don't like, I don't know what all the rest of your guys' thoughts are out there. I hate the fact that you've got on the 3 boxes here, one of them's locked, and you can only achieve things like that by going online. I don't want my Master League offline linked to my Master League online. I don't want any connection towards the two of it. They're two totally different experiences, and I don't want to have to go Master League online to unlock things from my Master League offline. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit at all, and please get that out of it. The Master League offline is what PES is all about. It's the meat on the bones, and it's the crown and the jewels for PES. Don't link it with any other mode. It's a mode on its own. It's worthy of that title. It's why so many people play PES for the Master League. You've got a really good product here. You've just got to improve things I've talked about, the transfer system. Give us more divisions, give us more cup competitions, because every country has at least 2 cups a season. We don't have 2 cups on the Master League, we only have one. Give us 2 cups, please. Give us more divisions so the experience and the climb can be more gradual getting to the top. Give us a youth academy, some youth players that don't have to come up in the transfer system. That would be fantastic. The last final point before I'm going to sign off, because you're probably fed up with my voice now. Game plan. These form arrows. Yes, it's a good idea to have form arrows, but they make no sense at all to me. I could bring Rudenev in here up front for this next game. He could score a hat-trick, have the best game of his life, get a rating of 8 at the end of the match, and then the next game he could be on a blue. I understand every player has a form stat 1 to 8, and obviously if you play by someone that's got a form stat of 6 or 7 or whatever the case may be, then they're going to be green, amber or red more often than blue and purple. I get that, not a problem, but it's not related to how they play in a match. If someone has a game of their life and scores 2 or 3 goals, or has like a 7.5 or an 8 in the rating, their form stats should not go down the next game. If anything, it should go up, because they'll be on a high. Like in real life, a player's in form when they've just scored goals or they've had a really good game. So therefore, it should be reflected in these form arrows. The other thing I don't really get on PES is the stamina bar. And like I say, the form arrows. Say you've got a big Champions League game coming up in the week and you're playing, I don't know, you're a Premier League side now and you've got a fairly easy game in the FA Cup, maybe against a lower division side or something. You want to save your best players for the Champions League game. They're on a green arrow or amber or red, and you rest those players because you want them fresh for the Champions League game. It makes no jot if you do that. It is so annoying on PES. You can pull good players off at half time and give them a rest. It makes no difference. Their stamina bar doesn't seem to change. Their form arrows don't seem to change. You could rest, like say from this game, I could rest Eccleston because I want him big for the next game and I want him on form for the next game. But the next game his form arrow could be on purple. Now that wouldn't happen in real life. If you had you were manager of Manchester United and you wanted Van Persie fit for a game on Wednesday, so you dropped him to the bench or you didn't play him on the Saturday, he would be even fresher and fitter for that game on Wednesday. So that needs to be related in these form arrows, and also the ratings at the end of the match. There ought to be some sort of link between them. The ratings at the end of the match don't seem to add up to me. They don't seem to have any purpose. Give them a purpose. Make the ratings and give someone a man of the match. Make their stats improve if they have so many games over a certain grade. You know, their stats go up quicker. If they play and they have over say a 6 or 6.5 in the ratings, then perhaps their stats increase slightly quicker. If they've had a poor game and they had a 5 or 5.5, then their stats don't increase and perhaps their form dips. You know, they have a couple games when they're only 5.5, then they're on poor form, and their form arrow should relate to that. I don't quite know how you're going to do it. I understand there's some sort of link with the form stat of 1 to 8, but it just needs to be, needs a bit of more consistency in it. And if you as a manager are in charge of this team and you want to rest players for a big game in the week, it should make a difference if you do that. If you rest players, it should make a difference, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. So hopefully that's going to be looked at in 2014. Konami do listen to their fans, so the more of you that watch this, and if you like my ideas, comment on the bottom on the YouTube comment, you know, favourite it, pass it on to your mates, give it a listen, see what they think, then hopefully it will get back out there. So I'm hoping, in short then, my Master League 2014, I want the transfer system overhauled. I want the chance to put in whatever bid you want for a player, regardless of what percentage chance they've got to come in there. I want player exchange in transfers brought back in, like it used to be in PlayStation 2. I want a more comprehensive youth team academy system, possibly even an under 21 side under your leadership as well, that you could either sim or play matches and bring people up from that under 21 academy squad into your first team to try before committing to giving them a first team contract. Not have them coming up as part of the transfer window. That doesn't happen in real life. If David Moyes, now the new manager of Manchester United, which I hate saying because I'm an Everton fan, wants to bring up a youngster from the United academy side, he doesn't need to wait for January or the summer transfer window. He can do that anytime. So why on PES if you've got to wait? Make transfer deadline day a lot more exciting. Make it a big feature on here. Make it that there's a chance you can sign people on transfer deadline day. On PES 2013, I have never made a signing on transfer deadline day. They all say no. It's like it's too late. You've lost the deal. Come on, give me something there. Make their bring more divisions and more cup competitions. At least 2 cup competitions in every country. We've only got 1 in the Master League. I want 2. More divisions would be great as well, so it takes you longer to get up to the top. Do something about these form arrows and relate it to ratings in the match. If you're going to keep the attributes in that you can buy, you earn points from your performances, then make those points performance related. You know, if you win the league, you have a boost of 500 points and make that staggered down the table. You know, if you win a cup, a boost of attribute points to buy more attributes, etc., etc. I think you get where I'm coming from with that. Player ID and team ID, can't go wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. Keep building that. That's a fantastic addition. Like I say, the gameplay just needs a few tweaks, but you're on the right track from this year, so hopefully nothing too major changing that. And obviously the edit mode's going to have an overhaul, so I understand, and the editors that I mentioned will have a field day with that and bringing out fantastic option files for all the fans. Please don't abuse them. You know, they're not there for someone to copy and then flog on eBay. They're there for the PES community to use. The editors do it in their own free time. They don't make money on it. Just don't take the piss, guys. It makes PES far more better game for us. And if we're going to take the piss out of them, they won't do it anymore. Why would they? So don't want people mugging them off and selling it on eBay and stuff like that. That's just a load of shit. So please don't do that. And then the biggest gripe for me, and the biggest thing has got to be put in there, is career stats in your Master League for each individual player. So, like for me, Frankie Newble, the stalwart I had at SP Spartans, I want to know how many goals he scored. Has he made the magical 100 for me? I want to know who's made the most appearances for the Spartans in the years I've had them. I want to know all this. So, make sure on there, on that squad list page, there's another little click for career stats. You could even put it on the other side there where you've got the value, the affection, and all that. How easy would it be to put one in there? Quite simple. So, and the other thing outside of the Master League, we need League Mode back in PES desperately. That was a big mistake not putting that in PES 2013. It needs to go back into PES 2014. But my main baby is the Master League, and that's why I've been talking about this tonight. Like I said, guys, if you haven't already caught up with me SP Spartans Master League series, we're in Season 6 now. Please subscribe and catch in on them. Fantastic series. Lots of Master League tips and stuff like that in that series as well. But comment below on my ideas of what you think of the Master League ought to be in PES 2014. Some of you might think they're crazy, my ideas. They might not be achievable, all of them, but I just wanted to have my say. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for tuning in. I've been the Pro Spartan Gamer, and I'll catch you next time, dudes. Chill.